Hey guys, welcome back to another video. As you know, I like to change up my backdrop quite a lot, so as you can see, not a new space, we're still in my office, it's just changed back to using the sofa again. Anyway, let's get on with this video. Although I now own a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, I'm still on tight budgets when it comes to making videos, and as a side product of using such a beast of a camera, it does require a lot of storage. But storage is so cheap now, I hear you say, and yes, for the most part, you are right. Hard drives have gone down in price, SSDs have dropped massively. I got this 500GB T5 SSD that I use for the Blackmagic for I think it was around about 50 or 80 pounds, just so much cheaper than SSDs were back in the day. Problem is, when you're trying to record videos like this every single week, you end up holding onto so much footage, especially if you're like me and you want to hold onto the footage, you know, for a rainy day. As someone who does like to keep all of the footage that they use, as someone who doesn't like to delete footage after they're done with it, I'm having to buy more and more hard drives to keep all of that footage on a budget, like I say. So I don't have the money to sink into like a massive RAID array or a storage server like you might have seen on some other YouTube channels that focus on photography and filmmaking that also integrate with their workflow quite well. Secondly, I'm pretty tight on space. You've seen clips of what this office looks like in other videos, and that is pretty much what I'm confined to. So, how am I doing it? Well, for now it's actually pretty crude. When I shoot the footage on the Blackmagic, it goes straight onto the SSD. Now, it doesn't come off of that SSD until I have completed the project, exported the final video, and uploaded the video to YouTube. Only then do I transfer it onto another hard drive. That hard drive is actually situated inside a hard drive dock plugged in by USB 3. So it's not actually internal to my PC itself. It's also not inside an enclosure. It's literally out, exposed to the elements, exposed to dust, but it's secure, it's not going to move, it's not going to fall, it's not going to get water spilt on it or anything. So like I say, when I've completed the project, all the raw files and the final video get copied over to there. So this sounds like a fine solution, right? No, it's not. In fact, it's actually pretty far from a good solution for anyone who works on video and wants to retain all of that footage for a long time. Yes, it makes it very easy for me to pop one of those drives out, pop another one in, and start the whole process over again without having to worry about copying anything. You know, I can literally just continue from where I left off. But the problem is, it doesn't account for redundancy and the possibility of the drive itself failing and me losing all of that storage. That's right, I have no redundant storage, people, so if a drive fails, that's it, I'm screwed. All that footage, it's gone down the... I mean, it is my choice, but I guess the one saving grace from all of that is that the final video file, so the one that gets uploaded to YouTube or exported for something else, like it might be a client video or something, I will also save that internally on my PC. Now obviously depending on what that is, depends on the file size, but you know, say it's something like a YouTube video or a music video, you're looking at less than a gigabyte for that. If it's something like a long recording of an event, like a presentation or a webinar or a training session, that's when you're looking at the larger file sizes, and that kind of becomes a bit more of a problem. So if you wanted to take kind of what I'm doing and then take it a little bit further, what options are out there? Well, there's actually quite a lot. One of the main things that you probably want to look at would be something like a RAID 1 array. Now for people who are running just a couple of drives on a lower budget like me, a RAID 1 array would be pretty perfect. Now it runs even amounts of drives in a mirrored fashion. You could have two drives of 1 terabyte each, but you'd actually only have 1 terabyte of storage. The reason for that is it literally copies onto both drives at once. It mirrors them completely. Now, if you're not familiar with RAID, I'm not going to do a video on it because I'll be honest, I don't understand all of them. I know the main ones. So you've got like RAID 0, which is striping. So that's basically where it copies to both so it can read really quickly. And then you've got mirroring, which is where it mirrors the data. Now you can get RAID arrays in a large range of prices. So it can be anything from something like the MyBook Duo by Western Digital, not sponsored, but I really, really wish it was. You know, like, that'd be great. You can get something like that, which will cost you around about £300. And what that is an enclosure with a couple of drives that come in it already. It's usually around about 2 terabytes and they come in RAID 0. Now you can change that in the actual software in the drive to RAID 1, so then you'll end up with 1 terabyte instead of 2. But it means that get that performance on a smaller budget and you can take the drives out afterwards and put new ones in and just resume. QNAP do a system that can be configured to RAID 1, as do Buffalo and Synology. So you have more than one option. It's just the MyBook Duo, from what I found, has actually been the cheapest, because those other brands, they offer just the enclosure at a slightly higher price. Another option is to do it the old manual way. So you can get yourself a dual drive dock. I'd recommend the StarTech one. Again, not sponsored, but for reliability's sake, they come highly recommended in the tech space. And you literally just plug in 2 drives and you copy the files to 2 of them. When you're done, take them out, put 2 more drives in, and you start again. So really simple way of doing it. And I guess finally, for those really tech savvy among you, now it's something I want to look into, but I can't really comment in depth about this, but you can actually get a RAID controller for your PC. So it goes inside in a PCI Express lane, and it allows you to then connect the drives to the RAID controller directly rather than directly to the motherboard. And that RAID controller handles all the logic behind, you know, what RAID configuration you put it in, and then reading and writing to the drives. This is a good option. However, if you are wanting to swap those drives out quite often, say you've only got 1 terabyte drives, you're doing a lot of video, doing a lot of audio, and you want to keep all the footage, you're going to fill those up pretty quickly. I filled up a terabyte in a ridiculously quick amount of time. I was like, I can't believe I filled that up already. So if you think you're doing it on a small budget, you've got the RAID card, you've got a couple of 1 terabyte drives, you know, you're going to be swapping those out. That's inside your PC. You're going to have to open that up. You're going to have to pull them out. You're going to have to put them back in again. Close your PC back up again. Screw it all back up again. Yeah, it's a whole faff. I personally wouldn't do that unless you're really putting in some large drives, like 10 terabyte NAS drives or something like that. I think that would probably be a better option. So personally, my recommendation would be to go with something like the MyBook Duo, something quite small, something network attached rather than inside your PC or USB based, because not only does it allow you to dump those files onto it, swap the drives out, and be inexpensive, but it also lets you access all those files from your network and remotely from outside of your house. So if you want to share images with your household, then you can do. Say you've just been on a trip to like Barcelona, like I have, and instead of having to do something like AirDrop, Huawei Share, USB drive, email, Dropbox, Google Drive, you can actually just whack them on your own NAS drive, so your own storage, and then you can use the app or the web portal to then be able to get into it and, you know, send, download files at your leisure. Anyway, I'm dealing fine with what I have to do right now. It works for me. But if you wanted a robust storage solution and you're using a Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K or something that records to that caliber or higher, then I hope this video helped you out. That is it for this video. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to like, get subscribed, and light the bell to stay up to date for every time I release a new video. But until the next one, see ya.